Hi everybody, how's everybody doing? Missing all of our salon family, and look forward to when we can see each other again. I came down to the salon today to make a little video about the mini kits that many of you have purchased with the Dazzle Dry product. So I wanted to go through some application steps and techniques and hints, and so you can use this product successfully for your DIY manicures until we get to see each other again. So the kit, when you open it, everything's going to be packaged. I already opened this one. It has its own spot. And we're going to line up everything on our table. And I'm going to just turn the camera. So give me a second here. And turn our light on so we can see a little bit better. Okay. So wherever you're doing your little home manicure, make sure you have some type of protected surface down, a towel, on a countertop, because if products get on your wood furniture or anything that's not treated or plastic, it will melt it and mar it. So that's not a good thing. So you want to do your little shaping of your nails first. Push back your cuticles with a wood stick to get that tissue up and off the nail plate. So give yourself your little, the manicure part, the grooming part. And most of our clients probably have 25 million of these floating around because you get to take them home with you, because we just throw them away. So the kit comes with 5 different products in it. And everything is numbered, so it's very easy to understand. So let's see if we got this. All 5 are in the picture here. So the prep is step 1. Prep is the cleaner, sanitizer, and conditioner. And this is infused with calcium, hydrolyzed protein, and vitamin B. So this is cleaning the nail. This isn't dehydrating or stripping any of the excess moisture or oils from the surface of the nail plate. Step 2 is our base coat. Now, the base coat is going to look this cloudy when you actually take it out of the box. That's on purpose. This is a rubberized base coat. It has rubberized polymer blend, a unique proprietary blend. And this allows our nails to be, when they're flexible because they're in and out of water, the base coat moves and bends with the nail, whereas traditional polishes don't know how to behave that way. So this is very unique to Dazzle Dry, and this is really what keeps our polish on the nails a lot longer than regular nail polish. So this needs to get warmed up in some hot water. So I had taken a little cup of hot water and I put the base coat in it. Never immerse it in hot water more than the letters Dazzle Dry, because heat expands and we don't want the water to get inside of the base coat. So we only want to warm it up until it's fluid and clear, and never more than the letters Dazzle Dry, which is on the bottle. Once it's gone clear, we're good to go. Next is the lacquers. So step 3. So the lacquer, when you open up the bottle, it should look fluid, have a nice consistency to it. If this looks thick to you at any point during your life of owning this, product, you're going to add Revive to it. So Revive is the solvent that has evaporated out of the polish, and that's on purpose. We're a fast dry system. So it's okay. You're going to get many uses out of this little bottle as long as Revive is applied inside 6 to 8 drops to restore the fluidity. So don't be afraid. You don't want to pour it in. You don't want to add too much at one time. You want to add slowly, 6 to 8 drops, close the cap, mix it up. So the more you open and close these bottles, the faster the product evaporates. The top coat also will get thick. This is a nice high gloss shine top coat. This is also something that at one point you're going to have to add Revive to if you notice it starts to get thick and stringy. So we're going to start with prep, the step 1, and I'm going to use lint-free wipes, a couple of corners of a paper towel for you at home. Don't use tissue or toilet paper. But the prep step is very important because we want to clean and sanitize and prepare the nail plate before we put polish on. So you're just going to use 1 clean wipe per hand and really wipe the nail plate. Get up near the cuticle area, on the side walls. Try to move that wipe around also. So you're using a clean spot. All right, so one hand done. And now we'll come on to the second hand. So this isn't intended to dry or dehydrate the nail plate. So they're not going to look all chalky. Like typically we do that if this were, you know, a gel polish or any other enhancement service. So that's not the case. We want supple, natural nails. Actually holds on to polish better. So here comes the base coat. Now, one thing with the base coat, because it is a water-based base coat, it's going to be very fluid, much thinner in viscosity or fluidity than the lacquer or the top coat. So you want to wipe a lot of the excess off the brush itself before you apply the base coat. So I always like to start with my dominant hand. So I'm going to take my non-dominant to be able to apply the polish. I find this just, our brain just works better this way. So I'm going to really, let me get in here. And apply the base coat sparingly. You don't want to oversaturate. And you also want to make sure you kind of just brush the end of the nail, a little bit of free edge that you might have. So removing excess is really important. And then cap the free edge. So you don't want to get this all over your skin. You don't want to try to avoid getting it on the cuticle area. So I don't know if you can kind of see the difference. And so just the biggest thing is just to not oversaturate the nail plate with the base coat. So base coat is applied a little bit more sparingly. And then you're going to see it's almost going to disappear. So we apply 2 coats of base coat to the nail. The reason being it's because it's a rubberized base coat, it's going to act like double-sided sticky tape. So the first coat is sticking to the nail plate, the second coat sticks to the first coat, and then the lacquer sticks to that. And when our nails are in and out of water all day, the nails are bending and flexing. So this base coat was designed to move with the nail. So that's why we don't typically chip as quick as regular nail polish. So you're going to notice already that first coat of base coat is starting to go to a matte finish. It almost disappears into the nail plate. So you want to wait until that base coat is no longer wet or shiny looking before you apply the second coat. So honestly, when you're doing your own manicures, it takes a lot more time because we're concentrating more than when you're in the salon having, you know, a professional technician do it. So you're going to probably be okay taking your time at home, because by the time I come in and do my second hand, I go back to my first hand and that coat is already dried to a dull finish. So again, base coat is applied more sparingly. And it's 2 coats. Try not to get any on the surrounding skin or the cuticle area. Capping the free edge. So each application, you want to be sure to cap the free edge. And don't mind my big blister from all the raking. All right, so you can see the difference between, this is the first hand that I did, and now I just applied it to this hand. Oh, phone is ringing, nobody's here. And I'm going to come in with my second coat now. So just remember to always make sure you give it a good minute or so in between applications, making sure that it's not a wet surface at all. So if you apply the coats too quickly, what can happen is you're pulling up the wet product, and now you're contaminating the polish. So if you're not waiting for that base coat to dry completely before applying, especially when you come in with the lacquer, you're going to be pulling up wet base coat, and now that wet base coat is stuck in your brush, and then you're going to put your brush back in your bottle of lacquer, and now you've contaminated the lacquer. So that's one of the reasons why your manicure, possibly, if it's not lasting, is because you're rushing the process or applying the base coat too heavily and not giving it enough time to dry. So we're going to come in and apply this hand now. Capping the free edge. So the base coat, especially in between manicure services, is going to go back to that cloudy appearance. And that's, again, on purpose, because when it's cool, the chain separates and it gets kind of gelatinous. Just make sure you warm it up. But if you find that your base coat is not behaving as it should, which means if you've warmed it up and it went clear and then immediately starts to get cloudy again, that's an indication that somehow your base coat got contaminated. So when we say contaminated, you know, it's something happened to change it from its original state, and that could possibly be water getting in it, not using it on a clean, prepared nail plate. Like, we don't want leftover cuticle tissue or cuticle product or anything that we've given as a treatment to ourselves left behind on the nail picked up on that brush, because now it's going to contaminate the base coat. So at this point, my first hand, it looks a little shiny, but it's not wet looking, all right? It's not wet. Whereas this hand, you can see the difference between the thumbs. Like, one is wet looking and one is already dried. So I'm ready to come in with my lacquer. You can shake it up, you can roll it between your palms, whatever works. I wanted to demo with the small bottles because I know this is, you know, a little different to manipulate than a regular size nail polish bottle. So when I apply the product on my brush, I dip and I wipe the back side against the neck. I let some of the product flow to the tip of the brush, leave a little bit on there. I'm going to come in. Now the trick with this is don't overstroke the product. We don't want to keep over pulling, and then we're going to re-wet the surface of the base coat. So, and then we're going to end up pulling up base coat. If you happen to get product on your surrounding tissue, the skin, the cuticle, you're going to do cleanup with pure acetone and a little cleanup brush. Now for the DIY, if you have a makeup brush, like an angled makeup brush, that makes a great cleanup brush, by the way. We don't want to use polish removers that have oils or conditioners in them for cleanup. We only want to use pure acetone, because that could leave behind oils, which will then cause the polish to peel up. Okay, so got one coat done, and you're going to notice that the polish is going to go very dull as it dries. The surface gets very dull looking. And again, that's on purpose. So I like to make sure, cap the free edge. So I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup before I move on to my next hand, just because it makes it a little bit easier. If you happen to get any on the surrounding skin. You don't want your brush for cleanup to be completely saturated with acetone either, because that could get into the edge and lift up the polish off of the nail plate. So just damp enough to wipe anything that got on the skin. All right, now we're going to try it on this hand. Base coat is shiny, but it's not wet looking anymore. So we're ready to come in to apply our lacquer. So these videos are definitely outside, you know, my comfort zone. Learning how to, you know, set everything up. What's the best angle? I had to get a stand and a ring light. But this is good because we have to conquer our fears and insecurities here. If any of you know me, if you put me up in a room full of people, I could be fine. But I think just having this camera sort of can be a little intimidating for sure. But I want to make sure that everybody who purchased a kit is comfortable with using the product and know that we're here for you. If you have any questions, we can help you out. So you can see, and don't be afraid if there was some streaks, some colors on that first coat may dry a little streaky. The second coat will take care of that. It's better to apply the polish not super heavily, like not have a lot on your brush, because it will affect the dry time and the wear time. So you can already see how the pinky and the ring, everything is going to a dull finish. This color is called It's Not You, It's Me, by the way. I love it. I don't know if I can get that in there. It has a very light lilac undertone to it. It's a gray with a very light purple undertone. And capping the free edge. Now I will say the brushes in these mini kits are, you know, they're a little challenging to get up close and contour the cuticle area, but the brushes that come in the full-size bottles are amazing. They are a wonderful shape. They definitely make it a lot easier to get nice and tight near the cuticle area. So the beauty of Dazzle Dry, as many of you know, that are clients of ours that get nail art, how quickly after the first application, after the second coat is applied, after it's dried to that dull finish within a minute, minute and a half, we can be doing nail art. Stamping, striping tape, foil art, hand-painted work. Typically in the past, like years ago, this was something that we could not do over freshly applied nail polish because it just it wouldn't dry. It wasn't dry enough. So the difference with Dazzle Dry and why it dries so fast is because the solvents that are in our product evaporate versus oxidize. Regular polishes, their solvents oxidize, and oxidation takes longer than evaporation. So that is another reason why we are so unique and unlike other nail lacquers on the market. We also are completely hypoallergenic, non-toxic, cruelty-free, made in Chandler, Arizona, small batches, quality controlled. The incredible chemist behind this product is Dr. Vivian Valenti, and she's a true innovator. She's created hundreds of cosmetic products in the last 30 plus years, but Dazzle Dry by far it's been a game changer for the nail industry, also for the spa industry. Spas love Dazzle Dry because guests can receive services right after their manicure and pedicure services that they typically couldn't receive before because the polish wasn't dry and they were always having to fix mistakes. So again, if you have to do any cleanup, you're going to use pure acetone with a cleanup brush. Make sure you get the excess. So don't use a really, really wet brush because we don't want acetone really seeping all over the place. All right, so once they have gone to a non-wet finish, you can't see it wet looking anymore, we can take our top coat, which is step 4, and we're going to apply a generous layer of top coat. So it's the complete opposite of the base coat when you come in with the top coat. So the top coat, I like to dip the brush, wipe the back side, and leave a healthy dollop on the other side of the brush. And you want to float that brush over the nail. And cap the free edge. Okay, so the top coat is going to give it a high gloss shine. Now, another little trick, if you are really hard on your hands, or if your nails are a little bit on the thinner side, a little more challenged, you can put 2 layers of top coat, but you want to do one right after the other. You don't want to wait the 5-minute dry time in between. So applying the 2 layers of top coat gives it that extra little shine. It wears a little bit better, especially if you're really rough on your hands. So all of our clients that get pedicures, love Dazzle Dry because we, in 5 minutes, can be putting socks and shoes back on. You're not having to leave, in the dead of winter with flip-flops or worrying about smudging your toenails. Dazzle Dry doesn't need fans. We don't want to blow on them. You don't need to wave your hands, in the air. No UV light. We have no reactive ingredients. We are safe for use on anybody who is immunocompromised, diabetic, at risk. Comes off with regular polish remover. And depending on the condition of your nail plate, what you do with your hands on a daily basis, Dazzle Dry will wear 7 to 14 days. Now I will say, for some clients out there that have removed, whether it's gel polish or acrylic dip powders or enhancements, your nails might be a little challenged right now. So you're not going to get the full term of Dazzle Dry, the full wear out of your manicure. So what I would say is to take it off, within 5 to 7 days. Give your nails a little nailcation for a couple of days, and using something like our Mend Oil. So the Mend Oil, this is made from squalene, which is derived from olives, and it has mastic gum in it. And this is a great nail repair oil. So this is a wonderful treatment to use, especially if your nails are looking a little challenged. So once they get a little bit more back into health, you can switch over to the Maintain. The Maintain is a great everyday nail and cuticle oil. Super absorbent, like fast absorbing, has 11 essential oils. This applied once a day is wonderful. Like 1 drop on a cuticle, spread it to the other 4 on that hand, I should say, and then put another drop on the opposite hand and spread it to the remaining 4 fingers, and then massage it in. So that's a wonderful, nourishing, everyday nail and cuticle oil. So we're going to give this 5 minutes to dry. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. And I hope this was helpful. And I miss you all, and I hope we can see you again really soon. Okay, I'm gonna say goodbye now. So that's my quick DIY manicure. Now, when this is dry, I'm gonna put my nail oil on. I'm gonna use my Maintain. After the 5-minute dry time, I'm gonna massage it in, so my cuticles won't look so dry. And don't mind my old lady hands. Okay, bye everybody. I hope this was helpful.